Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylin and it's so warm in here. I really need to cool down. I think it's because the slow cooker's on. It's a sunny day, and even though it's cold outside, the heat of the sun hitting the window, it's warming up the whole room, so it feels like a sauna in here. Anyway, so before I kind of start this video, I just want to say that just because I have decided to stop my official no buy year does not mean that I will not be doing a low buy or intentional living and spending, and I will still be doing frugal living, and there will still be content about that, just to kind of reassure anyone who is on a frugal living journey. Just because I've decided to quit the no buy year, it doesn't mean that I've decided to go to the opposite extreme where I just spend around me mindlessly and carelessly and don't give much thought to what I buy. So I will tell you why. Basically, I've decided to put a stop to my official no buy year. And I know this might be kind of disappointing to some people because they've been following this so far, and maybe it's encouraging to have somebody else who's doing it with you if you happen to be doing a no buy. And yeah, I will just explain the reasoning behind it. So basically, since the start of January, I have been severely depressed, and I've been trying really hard to pull myself out of it. But I have really struggled with that, and I am making efforts every single day to do things that make me feel joyful and that make me feel excited about life and that make me feel better and positive about things. I'm trying to keep upbeat and positive for other people around me too. But I think I just kind of hit a wall yesterday, and I realised that this no buy year and how kind of official I've made it and all of the rules and regulations of it are not good for my mental health. Whenever I did my no buy month in October, I found it really easy and fun because it was a month-long challenge, and I could see that there was an end in sight. Not that I planned on stopping, and the second that the month ended that I would run out to the shops and buy everything, but it was it felt more achievable to me because it was about 30 days, well 31 days, and that was it. I think I thought, because I found that month really easy, I thought I would find a no buy year easy too, and that it would just be an extended no buy month. But I actually haven't felt like that at all about it. I was waiting for a potato to stop barking, but clearly he's not going to, so I'm just going to have to kind of continue through it. So sorry about that, but I'm sure if you watch my videos, you're used to it by now. You know, he's always barking at something. I am going to continue to be a conscious spender, and for example, today I went for coffee with my sister, and afterwards we looked around the shops, clothes shops, because she was looking for some specific things. And although I was looking around and thinking, oh, that's nice, and yeah, it would be nice to have that, I never felt tempted to the point where I thought I might actually buy anything. And I still want to stick with not buying clothes as much as possible, because that was something that I kind of wanted to master this year, and I know I have enough clothes, and I want to be creative with what I already have and play around with my wardrobe and make the most of it, and kind of downsize and continue to kind of streamline my life. But I feel like the specific event that kind of broke me with it was yesterday. I don't know if it was an email or it popped up somewhere on my phone that there was a workshop taking place at 2 Royal Avenue, which is a venue that I like to go to. They host a lot of free events, and everything I've gone to there basically with the kids, I have loved. And I saw that they were doing a Valentine's Day themed workshop where they're making hand printed cards and teaching you how to make your own Valentine themed journal to give as gifts to your family or friends. And they said they would send you home with a take home pack so you can continue the crafting at home. And it was more expensive than something that I have in kind of recent times allowed myself to pay for, but also obviously it wasn't a free event, and I had actually booked the free screening at the cinema for Saturday for me and the kids. But I just had this moment where I was I really don't want to miss that, and I feel if I don't go, I'm going to regret it. And I feel like it's the kind of workshop where they give you skills that then you take home with you, and it continues to bring you joy after the workshop's over. And I just realised I felt really like flat about the idea of going to the cinema, just because it has become a kind of go-to thing for Saturday. Not that that's a bad thing, but just like, instead of going because I'm like, oh, I fancy going to the cinema with the girls on this Saturday, maybe we'll go, like, my thought process is more like, we have to find something free to do, we'll do that because I know it's free. And it's no longer been like fun or exciting. It sort of has taken a bit of the fun out of it, and I feel like that would come back a little bit if it was more like I could just decide on a Saturday, right, I want to go there today. Or like there's a movie they're showing that we particularly want to see, so I'm like, okay, it makes sense to go today, not just go and see every film whether it interests us or not. And I also felt like I was kind of putting myself like in a box, because I was kind of trying to save on petrol and trying to save on everything and trying to do everything for free. So it was like my life was becoming really like monotonous recently, because it was like no coffee shops, no driving distances that I don't need to drive, like no walking a route that's kind of outside our area, like no buying something like a little treat for yourself, kind of spur of the moment just because, like no, I want to wander into a charity shop and have a little look around, and if I happen to see something really unique, I can allow myself to get it. It was like, I felt like the joy was kind of being drained out of my life, and I don't feel like in any way that I lead an extravagant lifestyle, and I think that I practice frugal living all the time. Even whenever I have had times where I've gone on like charity shop like sprees, like, I mean, I might have come home with a few items of clothing, but it still was like much less than it would have been if I'd bought the stuff new. So that was kind of my version of a shopping spree before this all started. And I think I just realised that it's really rare actually that I find a workshop that I can attend with the kids that isn't just for them. Like most workshops that are kind of appropriate for adults too, you're not allowed to bring your kids with you, but this one was also for all ages, and I just felt like we would get so much from it. And also because we had our holiday cancelled last month, I thought it would be like something memorable to do together. And they finish for half term on Friday, and I just want to spend time with them and be more focused on the time I spend with them than what can we do that's free. Like, what can we do to get around spending money? Like, what I feel like it was making me go down this kind of obsessive thinking route, which just is not good for me, because my thoughts can get like that on their own anyway. And I just have to be really careful with things sometimes, because I feel like certain things can be triggers for me because I've got bipolar disorder. And I know that like this video probably is really disappointing to listen to, because I've noticed since doing this, like the no buy thing this year has become a massive like trend where everybody's doing a no buy, and I think everybody's putting out content about how their lives are improving for the better because of it, and they're putting out content about all the ways they have stuck to it and how great they've been at it and how disciplined, and it made me feel like I kind of had to be perfect, but also if I made any sort of human error, that I would have to feel ashamed of it. I just don't want to live my life like that. Like, after I booked that workshop yesterday, I felt so ashamed, even though I booked it. I did think it through, and I did kind of come to the conclusion that it was worth it to me, but I instantly felt filled with shame, because I thought, I've broken the no buy, I'm a terrible example to people, like I have failed, like all of the things that I've kind of talked about not wanting to feel or not wanting other people to feel around it. And maybe the timing of it isn't right for me, or maybe it's just not right for me in general, but I actually have found that in the past, I know I saved a lot of money last month, but I don't think I've saved more than I have in the past when I have just decided to pursue frugal living. Like, if I don't have fixed rules in place and I just think, okay, let's try and do this, create a frugal way, I will do things like go to the beach and bring our own hot chocolate and snacks and like collect shells and like walk the dog and just like be. Or like there's been little trips we've gone on overnight where I've like taken the girls to the beach, we've collected shells, we've like taken them back to the holiday house with us, we've like drawn sketches of them and made little like holiday journals, and we've always kind of led a creative, frugal lifestyle. And I think that this has just been like a bit too extreme for me, and I just have been left with the sense that there's nothing to look forward to. I am hyper focusing on what did I spend, what mistakes have I made, like where have I gone wrong, how do I fight this temptation, and it's to the point where it's draining the fun out of my life. For me, like I feel like a lot of the fun in life and the joy in it comes from spontaneity, and I am a spontaneous person, and I just like to go with the flow and see what kind of I feel like doing on a particular day. And like I will have times where I really rein in my spending and decide, right, I'm going to be so careful now and we can only do free stuff. But then the kind of, you know, like the back and forth of that sort of suits my life and my personality type better, I think. And like for me, like going for an impromptu like cup of coffee in a little cafe that I find along the way because I just feel like it, and I want to write and I want to read there, and I just want a change of environment. That has such a positive effect on my mood, and if I'm feeling depressed, it literally like lifts me out of the depression and puts me in a completely different headspace. And even if it's only for a little while, it makes life much more manageable for me. And the day that I went into town and I got the glider, and it was very spontaneous, and I went for hot chocolate and I was writing, and then I went and got my nose pierced, and I went to the chocolate shop and got my partner a little like fancy bar of chocolate and all. That was like the best day that I have had in so long. And the reason why I think it was so good was because there was no plan and there were no rules. It was just like, let's just see where the day takes me and see what inspiration I find along the way and what makes me feel happy and joyful and what like feels good right now. And I want to live my life like that in general. And I still am happy, obviously, to monitor my spending. I'm not going to stop tracking it, and I will always have phases where I am extra careful, and I will always live frugally in general. But I just don't want to suck all the joy out of my own life, because like we only have so much time on this earth, and it's really stupid. But I kept thinking, if I snuff it like before the year's out, whenever I'm on the other side or whatever, if I can still think, I will be thinking I could have not bothered with that no-buy because now my life's gone and that's it. And I know that's really like kind of morbid and weird, but it was just my kind of thinking process. So that has really contributed to it, and I hope that that makes a little bit more sense to you. And yeah, but if you want to keep going with a no-buy and you're watching this and you kind of were following along, and like, don't give up because of me. Like, do what's best for you and your personality type. And if you feel like you're doing really well at it and it is improving your mental health, like, keep going. I just think for my personality type, a year is too long. I'm not somebody that is very good at sticking with things in general. I kind of have a history of that. And I find like really long stretches of not telling myself I'm not doing something to be really daunting and kind of inconquerable. And I actually find I think I would have more success if I decided, right, this year I'm going to do several no-buy months or like lots of no-buy weeks, because to me that just feels more manageable and like I can do it, instead of feeling like I'm hurtling towards failure and when am I going to slip up. And I was just thinking of the whole year ahead of me as like this interminable, like depressing calendar that it felt like I'd never reach the end of it. And I don't want to think of my life as something that I am kind of rushing through to get to a better moment, because I don't want to be in this one. And I just felt like it was really kind of messing up my head about that. Those are my kind of thoughts on the whole thing. I know that if anyone's joining me for the no-buy year, that it's probably disappointing to hear, and I'm sorry for like letting you down if I have, with deciding to not carry on with an official no-buy. I want you to know that I still really respect the idea of a no-buy year, and I think people who do it are amazing, and I think it is worth doing if you feel like mentally kind of capable of doing it. And I will continue to put out content about frugal living and like low buy and just like mindful spending and intentional living and all of the kind of simple living stuff that my YouTube channel has always kind of had on it, because that's just the way we lead life, and I do want to inspire people with those things. And I always have lots of ideas and ways of doing things that are like free or cheap, but I just don't want to have these really rigid rules imposed on myself where I just feel like I'm doomed to fail, if that makes sense. So yeah, I hope that you're all having a great day, and I will make another video soon. And thanks so much for watching and joining me and becoming part of my channel, and I really appreciate every single one of you. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you want to continue getting more content from me, and I will see you soon. Bye.